Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Tuesday, the 17th of September 2019. So, Oilmageddon, surveying the aftermath. There will be blood. So, this all seems to be escalating towards war. The price of crude oil, as we're looking at this, you can see there, continues to move higher. This is the daily chart, which you can see here. But again, in the bigger pictures of oil, you can see there on the weekly chart, it's quite low. However, as I said yesterday, the issue really isn't about where it is at the moment, it's where it's been in the past. And at $150 per barrel, which you can see there back here, fuel prices are more or less the same as they are now. So God help us if they go back to this level, because you'll be paying twice as much. Simple as that. Right, the Dow for yesterday. Let's have a look, see what happened. That's the pound. Starting off with the Dow, and we can see here. Let me just get rid of a few things that are distracting me. Right, there we go. Okay, so yesterday the market gap lower, as we saw, didn't fill the gap, and overnight is starting to move lower as well because of the problems in the Middle East, and it's starting to, as I say, get a bit of momentum behind it at the moment on whether to go to war or not to go to war, who's to blame, whether it's fake news, false flag, black swan, whatever is dominating the news. So putting pressure on the market. Also, this adds another layer of complexity now in the Fed's decision making, because if fuel prices increase rapidly, that's going to be, even though it's lagging initially, it's going to create inflation, certainly in the transport sector to start with. Then that will follow on with food, and so on and so forth. So they have a bit of a dilemma at the moment. But yesterday, the Dow didn't really do a lot, even in the pre-market session. It just traded in a bit of a sideways range. It broke through the 200 bar moving average and managed to maintain this in the early part of the session. But a bit like Friday, the market's treading water, waiting for Powell and his chums to see what they're going to do on Wednesday, tomorrow evening. So the market moved higher. It then got sold into. It then saw some buying coming in with this bar here coming off the lows. And then tried to move the market lower, be below the 200 bar moving average, and then ramped it back up with the low volume to the 76% retracement, and then the market traded down to the 200 bar moving average, held there until we had the market close above here. Managed to get a bit of a rally up to this point, but again, as you'll see, the market 76% retracement at this level again, and then prices moving below the 200 bar moving average, and then after we see the market trading to 76% once more, we get the buy signal and a bit of a move to the upside there in this market before the close there. So the Dow managing to hold, but struggling, definitely struggling at the moment. And then some profit taking into the close, and then overnight the market back below the 200 bar moving average at the moment, which you can see there, and finding a bit of support. But when you step back and look, you can see we've got a bit of a problem here, Houston, until tomorrow evening, where the Fed may surprise the market and cut more than 0.25%. There's no news today, if I remember rightly. No, nothing to speak of. And the pound yesterday, obviously, Parliament prorogued at the moment. Today is the Supreme Court's decision on whether it was legal to prorogue Parliament. That's going to the Supreme Court today. So the pound will have some activity around this. If Boris or the government are acquitted, then the pound will rally, and vice versa. So, or should actually, if he is acquitted, it'll sink, and if it's found to be guilty, then it'll move higher. I don't know what sort of legal weight it carries and what happens after that. Not really interested, but I only need to know that much information in order to keep an eye on what's going on in the pound. So yesterday it moved lower. You can see 76% retracement there. Market found support, came back 76% from this high to this high. There we double top through, then it came back, and then we sailed straight down to the 200 bar moving average, where the market then clung to it. So like a magnet, and then once it breaks, you can see there it has moved lower on the overnight and is waiting for this news today. Meanwhile, in the daily chart, you can see prices down yesterday and holding there at the moment. I'll just remove these for the time being, and we'll see what happens. No doubt we'll probably get a judgment by lunchtime, I would have thought. Meanwhile, in Bitcoin, it's become very quiet and narrow, as I warned in yesterday's market alert. Stand aside at the moment until things pick up a bit, because it's gone really narrow and choppy. Yesterday, the market in the 4-hour dropped through the 200 bar moving average and then traded back, and then is now sitting on this as well. So still weakness around in the 4-hour. And yesterday you can see how tiny it was yesterday. We didn't even barely get $50. We had a bit of activity here, and then we went sideways. So there we go. Not a lot to report there. Meanwhile, let's just bring this in here. Let's have a look, see if you can see all of this. Yeah. So implied volatility, as I said yesterday, with the backdrop of the Saudi oil rigs being droned or whatever's happened to them, we could expect to see implied volatility kick up, and that's what we've done from 1165 up to 1234. However, it still remains on the bullish side at the moment, even though it's ticked up slightly, and there you can see a clearer picture of it. The market gapping lower and implied volatility increasing there a bit. But who knows what's going to happen now. Now the war drums are beating. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, that will do it for this one. Keep in mind, no news today as far as the Dow is concerned. Supreme Court decision for the pound. Bitcoin is in a narrow trading range. Okay, that will do it for this one. If there is anything to report, I will let you know. But otherwise, keep an eye on the news for Boris. And we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.